So who were the adults? Were these teachers that just were this? How did the interface between the curriculum development, and those who implemented the curriculum work? And then also, could you give us some examples of the way the curriculum circulated throughout the culture of the school day, and maybe some examples of how that curriculum reinforced those sort of those contradictions within the ideological milieu of this project.
So part of how the curriculum was created was that teachers would actually sit down. I should say that the Homeland Security program was a program within a school. So it's something that students signed up for, much like you might sign up for an IB program or a magnet program. So you have to sign up for the program. And it's not, your whole day isn't Homeland Security. You take Homeland Security classes, and you also take math, science, English classes. So what teachers would do, both Homeland Security teachers and regular subject area teachers, is that they would sit down with national security industry folks, right? They would get an engineer from Northrop Grumman, and the mathematics teacher would say, what kind of mathematics are important? How do you apply mathematics in your daily work? And they would then say, okay, well, to build a bomb, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Here's the kind of mathematics you need. And then the teacher would, incorporate that into her curriculum. So one of the examples is the math teacher used to give this example of, Jim would throw a ball, and there's some, trajectory that you have to calculate, right? The arc of the ball. And so in talking with these national security experts, she changed that. So then it's a sniper is trying to shoot and hit a target in North Korea. And so the idea is, how do I calculate the trajectory, the angles, and all that needed mathematically to hit a target in North Korea? So in some ways, it's these very small changes, right, that sort of seep their way into young people's minds, so that they're constantly thinking about national security. And another way they did this was they would start in kindergarten, and they would show up in kindergarten and say, here's what a fire truck is. And then, later they would say, 2 fire trucks leave the fire engine, that firehouse at this time, going different miles per hour. Who's going to get there first, right? So they were building these layers so that it was almost impossible to see outside of this national security lens, so that young people are always applying subject matter to the problem of terrorism in the United States. So in some ways, what they're doing is really innovative, right? They're trying to make education relevant to kids, but the way that it's being made relevant is through national security, through war, and through terrorism. But it was, highly successful through these collaborations. I know you had some more questions for me, but I've forgotten them.
Oh no, that's great. That's great. And when you say highly successful, do you mean successful under the terms set by the goals and aims of the program itself, or successful in reshaping the worldview as a kind of world-making project within the school?
Both, because that's part of the goal of the program, is this sort of world-making project of, we can train the next generation of national security agents. And that's not just with the tools of the trade. It's also, you have to have a certain ideological mindset. You have to actually believe there's a terrorist threat, that this is what constitutes the terrorist threat, and here's the proper solutions for that terrorist threat. And so it was sort of through this hands-on curriculum that students bought into it, because they were engaged. They went on lots of field trips. So they bought into the program itself. And because they're bought into the program, then they were buying into the curriculum itself. And so they wanted to be experts of this curriculum.